And we're live. Hello, everyone. We are back with another exciting workshop. I am Hadia Malik, and I thank you all for being a part of this workshop. Everyone who's joined in from Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, a very, very warm welcome. For the ones that are joining in for the first time, I'd like to share a bit about the Qureos platform. Qureos is a platform where we are on a mission to transform 100 million careers by having apprentices get bite sized learning from experienced mentors and then put you together with projects where you can apply the learned concepts. We've got multiple cohorts and workshops available on the platform. And also, we have many new exciting streams coming up. So, if you want to accelerate your learning journey, be a part of Curious Tribe by signing up at www.curious.com. Also, join our Slack tribe to interact with the future market leaders and stellar mentor community. The link to the Slack tribe will be mentioned in the comments below. Today, in this particular workshop, we will be hearing about Saima Shirazi and how her professional and personal journey has been like. A very, very brief introduction of Saima is that she is an accomplished, driven, and creative media, brand, marketing, and communications professional with a depth of experience across diverse fields and businesses, including advertising agencies, hospitality industry, telecom operators, major broadcast media companies, and global software houses, as well as leading financial institutions. Over time, Saima has developed a holistic set of skills and expertise in the areas of marketing, media brand management, corporate communications, project management, product development, event design and management, as well as broadcast media content management over a professional career of more than 25 years. Saima has a natural flair for writing and public speaking, as well as training and motivating teams. In her spare time, she has also hosted and moderated events on and off screen, as well as written and sung songs and done voiceovers. Currently, Saima is heading corporate communications at a leading corporation in Pakistan. Saima, thank you so much for being a part of this workshop.
Thank you, Hadia. You've been awfully kind with your, very generous introduction. I suddenly feel accomplished, although, it may not be true at all. So thank you for having me.
No, no, this is absolutely all that you've achieved so far and a lot more. Before we start our chat, I'd like to mention for the participants that you all are absolutely free to share your questions in the chat box. We'd be happy to include them, and I'm sure Simon will love answering them. Also, the session is recorded, and you will be able to access this later. So we'll begin. So, Saima, the introduction that I shared of yours was a very formal sort of an introduction, right? So we want to ask you about your journey, how you've come so far, all that you did. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say that was a very, very, sugar coated and also, a resume kind of beautiful introduction. Real life is not as pretty as the brand that you present, right? There's a lot of hard work, there is a lot of struggle. So, yeah, I think I'm just like we were talking before the session started, that I'm really honored because I don't. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a star. I'm not a CEO. I don't feel that I've achieved a lot of success in life, but I'll also talk about it, what success is to me, So yeah, I started off as a very, very young girl who was clueless, who had no idea what she wanted to do in life. But I knew what I wanted to be, in a way that when people used to ask me, with my varied interests, like you've had a long intro for me, what is it that you really want to do? You are interested in so many things. So, what is your ambition in life? So, my ambition in life was not to have one, and just to have faith in myself, not be so hung up on achieving success or getting somewhere, just being my true, authentic self. That was my ambition. But still, what do you want to do? I want to radiate love, and I guess I have been successful in doing that. Um Wherever I go, the first thing I look for is there should be um minimal stress, whether it's a job, whether it's a friendship. It should be full of good, happy vibes, because your own personal mental space and well-being comes first. So yeah, I started as a copywriter when I didn't know what copywriting meant. I was like, I just walked into an ad agency, having recently graduated, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm also a fine arts graduate and I've done my master's in English literature. What could I do? Maybe, let's go find a job at an ad agency. And they said, oh, you can write. Why don't you try your hands at copywriting? And you know what? I have no shame in accepting to this day that I didn't know what copywriting meant. I was like, copyrights. I said, that is something legal, copyrights. I can't do it. They're like, no, 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 no. You have to write copy. You can write copies like for ads. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So that is how my journey started, and from there I got interested in brands, and I've been a little footloose, and I've been all over the place, and I think my success is more internal than external. And I've tried to learn a lot and have a more expansive rather than a vertical growth. So that is what I focused on, not anything in particular, but my personal satisfaction.
Yeah, that's great. And this is very glad to know that, because a lot of the apprentices starting out, they don't know what they want to do in life. So this is great to know from you that it's okay to not know what you want to do or where you're starting out. It's
Yeah.
it's okay to be clueless as long as you have your values intact and in place.
Absolutely. And it's okay to be clueless, and it's okay to be honest about it. I mean, if you don't know the answer to something, you can say, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm not familiar with this term. If even as a senior management person, if I go to a new industry, there are certain jargons and industry specific terms, and I'm to this day, I'm like, I don't understand this. Could you repeat it for me? Okay, let me write it down. It's always good to ask questions. And I think you should erase and delete the words embarrassment or shame from your dictionary. No question is a stupid question. Not knowing and accepting that you do not know something means that you are willing to grow. And that would be my advice to everyone, especially young professionals. Uh, just have a lot of faith in yourself, because I believe we're all unique beings. We all have a bigger purpose to serve in our lives than to just get a job. Uh, don't focus on the first employer that is ready to offer you a job. Are you accepting that employer as well? Because no employer has an upper hand on you. Even if you have zero experience, there is a need for your talent, your skill, your degree, your personality. That is why you've been called to that interview. So you basically deal with the other party like a vendor. There is a certain kind of skill set or a service that you're going to provide. So talk on an equal level. Don't let anyone ever manipulate you into accepting something that is less than what you the worth that you attach with yourself, whether it's monetary or whether it's work, it's a designation. Like when I started off, um, and I wanted to work in brands. I don't have a marketing degree, and I started calling this telco. It's a big telco in Pakistan, and they would tell me, okay, we have our telemarketing position. I'm like, no, 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 no. You don't call me for that. I'm interested in brand marketing. Yes, we've shared your resume with our marketing director, and I'm like, okay. A couple of days later, so what I'm trying to tell all the new young professionals and students is that have faith in yourself. I just picked up the phone and I called that office and I said, "Hi, this is Saima Shirazi. I would like to speak to your marketing director." And they also put me through, And next thing, I'm talking to the I'm looking at all these comments. They're a little distracting, so I will get to those in a bit. Let me know if
Yeah.
I'm talking a lot. So I
No, no.
just yeah I've so I they put me through. So here I'm talking to the director marketing and sales, and he's like, "Hello, who's this?" And I'm like, "I'm Saima Shirazi. Your HR department's been telling me that they've shared my resume with you. So have you seen it?" So I think he got quipped. He's a big telco CEO to this day, right now, currently. And he said, "I haven't received your resume, but I'll be sure to get it and have a look at it. And we'll call you back." I said, "Sure." Put the phone down. Next day, I got a call. And that was my, I would say, first big break. I got a job in brand marketing. Yes, they did take my test and all, and I was myself. Nothing, you shouldn't take anything so seriously that it becomes a matter of life and death for you. Even if I didn't get that job, I know that perhaps my path in life would have been different. Even today, I know whatever happens, it happens for a greater good. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. Like today, I'm here talking to you. I'm sure it's it's for something big. And I would love to impart some knowledge or some, some whatever I've learned from my experiences. Everything is connected to everything else. That is what I believe in. Staying
Absolutely.
positive.
Exactly. And we've started receiving a lot of comments and questions. I'd like to take one comment since we're talking about your how you started your career. So we've Joanna who's asking, how did you start your first job and how was your experience? What did you learn from your first gig? So I think you've shared how you started it. Maybe you can share your experience or what you learned from it.
I learned that you don't really have to have experience at something or a degree for a particular job that you're interested in, but you have to have a lot of passion. And if you find somebody that believes in you, because somebody believed in me, if I didn't get hired that day, I would not have had the career that I've had. So it is my advice to all the managers to believe in people, sometimes. And you know how I got that job also? I got asked a question by the same director marketing and sales. "Saima, why? Okay, fine. It's all good. You've written a great proposal, but why should I hire you? You don't have a marketing degree." And I said, "You should hire me exactly for the very same reason, because I'll be stupid. I'll end up doing the stuff that other people with a marketing degree will tell you. There are 101 reasons why and how a certain thing can be done. I'll have no information whatsoever. I'll probably work hard at it and I'll end up doing it." And I got hired. So it was great, Joanna. My first gig probably launched me and launched my career, and it's been great.
Awesome, awesome. Before we move on to other questions, I'd also like to ask Saima that you've built
Mhm.
this career for yourself, and like you've shared that you've been working for almost like 25 years. So that's a huge like a span of time, right? So I'd also like to know what in these 25
Comes
years
with
has been
age.
your biggest what has your biggest achievement we'd like to know in these 25 years is?
Excuse me, for coughing. What's my biggest achievement? Okay.
Yeah.
Probably you would be expecting a different kind of answer, but my biggest achievement is staying true to myself, never compromising on my values, always standing up for myself, always raising a voice, whether I've seen unfairness happening to somebody else or to myself, always speaking up, always being honest to a fault, being brutally vocal about things.
We'd love
I've
to know some
learned.
examples as well.
Pardon?
We'd love to know some examples as well with all of this.
Some examples as well. Um, yeah, uh, I'll really have to think about them. But yeah, I've never. Okay, I'll tell you. Examples, maybe they'll come to me, but since
Yeah.
this is an interactive, you're just asking me a question. I'll tell you, I don't believe in hierarchies. I don't believe in red tapeism. I can talk to any person the way I can be talking to, let's say, a friend. I'm not in awe of the titles or anything. I'm just not easily impressed. I'm someone who's very, very, malang. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just speak up. I would just confront people, say it to your face, Hadia.
Hmm.
This is something that does not align with my personal values. So don't do this.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
sometimes people don't take it very well. And sometimes
Yeah.
you are the one who bears the consequences. But you win some, you lose some. If you choose to stick to your mental ethics, your values, your personal and professional integrity, you don't want to compromise on them. So a lot comes with it. You have to take the backlash. And I wouldn't say that it's been an easy ride. It's been very, very tough. But yeah, my success is that I'm internally very, very satisfied and very, very content. At the end of the day, if I am looking in the mirror and I like the person that I see, that's my success. If I respect the person that I'm seeing, that's my success. And
Absolutely.
I mean, that would be my advice to the young people also.
Exactly. And
They have
Simon,
to
what from this
promise.
conversation, I see that you're a very centered sort of a person, right? You have your values, you don't deviate from them. So I'd also like to know that, when you wake up in the morning and you've been working for 25 years, mashallah. So what is it that motivates you? Something that you wake up and you're like, okay, like this is what I stand for, and I will do better, better than what I did yesterday. So what is that
Hmm.
motivates you, or things that excite you? We'd love to
Okay.
know.
Uh, what is it that motivates me? I think that is something that aligns with your organization's mission. What motivates me is to motivate people. And it might sound very cliched or very textbookish, but it really isn't. It is true. What motivates me is to see people thriving. I love to see people growing, and I love to help them grow. So that motivates me. What motivates me is to be an agent of change. And if I'm failing at it, I accept defeat gracefully. I choose not to take on fights which are unnecessary. So you have to learn, where to be persistent, where also to withdraw. Withdrawing is not necessarily failure. You need to, like I said, my personal integrity and my peace of mind are my topmost priority. So yeah, I love to, sometimes if I hear that somebody got a promotion, or something great happened to someone, I feel so excited. I feel like something good has happened to me. So I wish
Hmm.
that everyone were to feel the same way about other people's growth that are completely not connected to you. So that is what I thrive on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like, as a manager, you're sharing all of this, that get happiness out of achievements of your team members or your colleagues. So
Yes.
I'd also like to talk about one question that Anas has shared, that we really like you to discuss the implications of unemployment, people who don't have jobs, right? So,
Hmm.
and just to sort of give a little detail about the question, why graduates are unemployed even after having degrees. If you're going to start today, then what could you do, and from where could you start your career today?
Okay. You know what? It's sad that unemployment is something that's very, very prevalent in our country today, especially after or since COVID. There are a lot of people who are unemployed, and that is, I can talk about it because there have been times in my life where I've been unemployed, either by choice or by force of nature, because sometimes bad things happen to you which are not necessarily your career, but let's say sickness, accidents, whatnot, and
Yeah.
you are unemployed. Anas is saying, if you're going to start today, then what could you do,
That's
and
another
where
question.
is it?
So the
That's enough.
question about
Okay,
this
so
starting.
uh, being unemployed. Okay, I'll tell you what. Have Don't just rely on your jobs. Have passions outside of the degree you've got. Like, I myself, I can speak for myself. I have varied interests. Like, I paint, I write, I'm a qualified hairstylist and makeup artist. So when I was unemployed, and I had an accidented right hand, I'm right-handed. I had to quit working because there were four major surgeries happening on my right hand, and I'm right-handed. I made hundreds of thousands by painting with a bandaged hand, because I had to quit working, because I had something other than just relying on people hiring me. I had a skill that I could make money with. I started painting. I also started cutting people's hair with a hand that was crippled at the time, uh, so to say. So I would say, do something. If you're unemployed, do anything. you know Start working. We're not at a burger selling joint.
Yeah.
Do something. Don't be too hung up on you know whatever. Just have varied interests. Do something of your own. Have an entrepreneur ship wali spirit, that you can do anything, and have faith in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very interesting insight because in countries like Pakistan, working at a burger joint or working menial jobs, it's not considered respectful somehow. But I think you'd agree with me when I say that respect is in any work that you do. It could be being a janitor or anything, but as long as you're
Yes.
earning money out of your own hard work, that is the money that you deserve.
Listen, Hadia, there is you and I, the universe didn't promise us anything. You and I are very, very privileged beings, and I would say, we didn't do anything to have what we have in life. We just were lucky enough to be born where we were born, and to be raised the way we were raised, and the opportunities that came our way, and how our life was for us. I am no better than the person begging on the streets. So I think you should have no fear. You should live your life fearlessly. If you know that you can be like someone who's like a janitor who's cleaning the toilets. Why not? Why are we why should I be so entitled? I can do
Yeah.
anything, and you should be open to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, I will be coming back to the questions in the comment section. I also want to know that, Saima, you've been in managerial roles. You've currently like heading an entire department. So I'd also like to know what you think are essentials of a good manager or a good team leader.
Oh, love. Lead with love and empathy, and a lot of trust. Give give freedom to people to grow. Trust them. uh, don't micromanage people. Guide them with love. Yes, of course, there'll be things you have to keep some decorum, some discipline, everything. But lead with a lot of trust, um, and a lot of love and empathy. You need to know that you are responsible for them. The advice that I can give to managers is like, in my career, I've had people that were tough to manage. Sometimes, there were people who were, perhaps I was a lot younger in age and experience. They had more working experience than me, so they resisted, working for me. So I gave them that kind of autonomy that they deserved, right? Or that they desired, or that was due to them. And there have been people in my life who sometimes, there are you go through a lot of experiences. Like if someone, if a reportee has, let's say, even misbehaved with me, you have to understand it. Maybe they're going through a tough time, and you have to be responsible that you don't take it personally. I have been very mindful throughout my career that at no point in my life should I be unfair to someone. Okay, Hadia, that day she did this. Okay, now I have to do her appraisal. No, you have to be neutral. You have to vacate your mind. You have to stop perceiving. Okay, perception comes from experiences. But then comes a time when you need to do away with your perception, because perception can also taint your decision making. You know, it's it, it's something perhaps you learn with time. It comes with age. You should just gather the wisdom that comes with perception, but not the negativity. Give
Wow.
give the other people a chance.
Yeah,
Love.
absolutely. So that's the bottom line of everything. Just love. And with everything that you do,
Yes,
do it with love.
a lot of love, a lot of passion, a lot of empathy. The world would not work without love. Nothing,
Definitely.
even if, to this day I say, all we need is love. What is it? Acknowledgement. It is love. A pair is, it is love. I got acknowledged. I feel great.
Hmm.
So you have
Hmm.
to take care of people and yourself first. Charity begins at home. What you
Hmm.
offer other people, you should also offer it to yourself. So I also
Hmm.
offer it to myself. I give myself a lot of love.
Absolutely. I think that's also very important. And since I was asking you this question from the side of a manager, now I'd like to flip the question and I'd like to know that, you see a lot of recent graduates join corporates, they come to you, you interview them, you hire some of them. So what is it that they lack and how do you think they can overcome that?
I think confidence.
Hmm.
Okay, I should just speak in English. Perhaps I don't know what kind of audience is there. There is no need for you to fear. Take it from me.
Saima, can you
I
hear
work.
us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I can hear you
Can you hear
fine
me?
now.
Okay. So for someone who's new and who's starting a career, I'll tell you, people that you see on screen, because I've been in broadcast media too. A lot of film stars, movie stars, television, big big actors, when they're going on stage, they have this stage fright. They have talked to me personally. Oh, Saima, you don't know, this is so tough for us. When we're acting, it's different. This is in front of live audience. So it's natural. When you're going in front of people, I think I don't feel it, honestly. Whenever I'm going in front of people, I'm just so myself. But if you feel self-conscious, you will look self-conscious. You just need to, my only advice is that you are a unique being. You've been sent to this world by God, by a higher power, or by universe, because you're a very, very special, unique person. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. So know that you're special. And when you're going for an interview, uh, be confident. The other person does not know you. You are the protagonist of your own life. You are the one who controls the narrative, the story. You are the co-author of your life's this play. Because like Shakespeare said, or the world is a stage, and but we're only the actors. I've ruined the quote, but yeah, that is what he said somewhat. So you're very, very unique beings. Know that you're special. Feel it. Uh, be confident about yourself. Have nothing to fear. If you don't do well in an interview, don't worry about it. The other person, probably you'll never come across them again. Don't worry about embarrassment or shame or any such thing. Just move on. Can you hear me? I think your video is stuck, or is it mine? Uh-oh. Hadia, I can't hear you. Let me check my internet. My internet is fine. Can you hear me, Hadia? I can't see you. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I
Okay.
can see you. I've turned on my video now. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Should I move on to the next question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So Anas's question is also building on to the question that I just asked you. So he's asking, if someone does not have a job or does not know how to push himself or herself in the market, what advice would you give them?
I would say find a mentor. you know it's always
Yeah.
good to talk to people who build you up, who give you confidence. I would say, if you're lucky enough to have parents at home, talk to them. We are never going to be smarter than them. you know um, uh, Talk to people who can encourage you, who can give you confidence, who can lead you. It need not be a mentor, honestly, need not be someone who's professional. Anyone, a friend, a parent, an aunt, an uncle, who can tell you that you are wonderful, you'll do great. Okay, not this time, maybe next. For if you don't end up getting a job in the first try, there'll be another job interview. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is something very, very important for recent graduates, because for them to land their first job, it is something very huge, and this is what they really strive for, to get land that perfect first job. Some big
The,
corporation, if they
hmm,
can. Yeah.
just get rid of the anxiety. If you have the anxiety, it will show. Just be
Hmm.
confident in an interview. If you don't know something, please ask. I don't understand the question. Could you rephrase it for me? I don't know what you're talking about. Start with asking the other person questions. Tell me about your organization. What is it that you do? What does this job entail? You know, I would say humor is the best thing. Use it.
Rightly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So another question that sort of also builds on top of this is that when we have to draw parallels between learning from their experience on the job and learning from a university, which experience do
Hmm.
you think shapes an individual to be a better professional?
Experience from a job or from a university?
Yeah. So theoretical experience and actually doing things, both of these.
I think doing things, you know,
Yeah.
when you do things, you learn a lot more. And sometimes whatever you've learned in theory does not even count. But yes, educating yourself is very, very important. The day you think you know too much is the end of your life because you have to keep learning. But definitely, get your hands dirtied, get into it, get into the ebb and flow of life, the work life, and you learn a lot. Be interested. Work hard. I have in my first 2 3 jobs. I remember I used to work till 3 a.m. at work, and I used to be the only one in the office as a brand manager. Okay, some launch is coming up. Um, uh, the, I have worked very, very hard in my life. Whatever I lacked in terms of education, this answers your question well. I worked
Yeah.
hard to learn on the way in practical life.
Yeah, absolutely. We have this motto in our organization that do things
Mhm.
quicker, fail quicker, and then learn quicker. So I think
Oh,
this is very,
absolutely.
very important. Yeah.
Don't get stuck in stuff. Quick is the word. I love that motto. Can you repeat it for me? Do things
Yeah.
quicker,
So
fail quicker, and
yeah. And learn quicker.
oh, love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree
And
with it.
also, I think from this question, I'd also like to know what you have to say about the role of educational institutions that they have to play in sort of grooming professionals before they step into their first job.
Hmm. Yeah, I think now you have, it's become a lot easier today than it was when I started working, because now young students get all these management trainee programs. The employers go to these job fairs that are happening on campus. So now I believe it's a lot easier for fresh graduates to land a job, an internship. It was not the same way when I started out in 1920s. So
Wow.
I had to go
Um,
out there.
yeah, absolutely. And even the students currently, they're facing a couple of problems, right? So we
Hmm.
have a question in the chat box. Adil is asking that some graduates struggle
Hmm.
landing with a management trainee position during their final year. What message would you give them, or just to sort of make it easy for them, or if there are any tips and tricks that you'd like to share with them?
It does not matter. A lot of people don't start their careers as a management trainee. Apply in jobs. Keep applying for internships, for jobs. Keep meeting people. Being out there. Like I would say, if you're, especially in particular, if you're in sales and marketing or brand, learn to sell yourself. Um, Create your own brand. Who are you? Take that time to focus on learning more, on growing more. What was it that I lacked, that I maybe it was not even something that you lacked. Maybe the quota of the empties was done, and
Yeah,
sometimes it's just bad luck, not necessarily something wrong with you. So it's okay, you're in the queue. You'll get your turn.
yeah. But
Everything,
in
there's a
anything else,
time. Yeah, we're not on a schedule here. You'll get what you have to get. Just keep working on personal growth. Just don't lose hope. Never lose hope.
absolutely. So, Simon, I think we've spoken a lot about how young professionals can step in their first role, how can they perform better. I think I'd also, this one aspect about your work life that also like to talk about is that you are a woman in a male dominated society. So, I think I'd also like
Hmm.
to talk a little bit about this. I'd like to know that, if any challenges you've faced because of the fact that you're a woman, or anything that you'd like to share with us.
Okay. Yeah, of course, it's difficult. The Okay, this is a question I'd have to answer very diplomatically, although I'm not known for diplomacy much, but it is difficult being a woman in in our workplaces. I will tell you, when I was young, I was raised perhaps differently back in the day than other people my age were raised. I started working at a very young age, and I also started living on my own because I wanted to have that experience, just like people in the Western world do that. And my parents, God bless them, were so open minded that they allowed me to do that. Actually, they wanted me to do that, to go out in the world and see if I could fend for myself. And I did that. And especially that was tough because I will talk about my personal experience. People were always quibbing, why does she live alone? What is it? Is she, needy that she's working? She doesn't look like someone, because you stereotype people by the way they look. What is
Especially
it?
women.
uh, yeah, is it? And then you start, there were all kinds of uh, you face a lot of challenges. There are a lot of there is a lot of stereotyping, and especially if you are someone who's fiercely independent, who speaks her mind as a woman, who calls the other person's bluff. You will not be very well liked. Either you'll be loved or you'll be hated. So that is what I've
No in
faced in
between.
my career also. Either I've been loved a lot or I've been hated a lot. And I say, when I can't, take credit for being loved a lot, it is okay if I'm hated a lot too. But my request has always been that if you have to hate me, please hate me a little less. Sometimes people get very toxic. It is tough. I wouldn't uh, want to fool anyone, especially girls in our society. Why do we still have women coming out on 8th of March? Is it 8th of March or 18th of March? 8th of March.
Eight.
We have this women's march because it is difficult. It is very, very difficult, but you have to fight it out. You have to never lose the fight in you, but you also have to learn when to stop fighting and withdraw yourself from toxic situations. If something is compromising your personal integrity, your professional integrity, your sanity, just withdraw,
Yeah.
because you don't. Once I also realized that, okay, now this is getting too toxic for me, it's destroying my personality, I'm cribbing all the time, and this is not me. This is not the person I am. I'm whining. Okay, I shouldn't stay in this situation. If I'm unable to change it, then I retreat. So
Hmm.
that is how I've basically safeguarded my personal and professional integrity and my sanity. It is very, very difficult, but don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, since you're working in, like, you've worked in some big names, and these industries are male dominated, right? So what is it like a woman, navigating this environment, and how do you overcome the challenges that you face, the roadblocks that you face, and the glass ceilings, obviously?
Okay, the challenge is obviously, if someone, uh, if you're in a commanding role, or if you're in a leadership role, uh, uh, and you speak a certain way, you're confident, it can be held against you, right?
Absolutely.
Because in our society still, sadly, even women at workplaces are told to be more docile and more, put your femininity first. No, when I am a worker, when I am in office, I'm just an individual. I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, I'm an individual. I'm a professional, and I don't ask for any special favors. Being a woman, okay, yeah, like I told you, I am the one who's worked in offices till 3 a.m. in the morning, being the only woman in the entire building, and the guards have come to me, ma'am, when are you going home? Because they also want to go to sleep. What is happening with us? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's difficult. Men expect, well, there are not to, I'm saying this at the risk of stereotyping, but sometimes you do face people, especially men, who would not, if a man is speaking to them on the same level, it will be all right. But if it is a woman, they just take it on their ego.
Yeah.
How dare she? So it happens. To this day, it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've also had experience working with government organizations. So
Yeah.
what is, yeah, how is the, the ratio there, and how is the acceptance there for any new ideas that women put across?
Okay. Uh, I'll tell you something, you'll be surprised. My experience working as a private consultant for a government organization,
Sure, sure.
health care, has been brilliant.
Okay.
Uh, because it was great. I was also working for a government organization, and I took it as something, as a duty. I felt duty bound that I have to do something for a state-owned organization. If I can make some changes, if I can, help these people with the skill set that I've got, and they were more than receptive. There is a lot of, they were very, very respectful. I got a lot of respect, and a lot of, they were more open to ideas. Even though these are places where you have, workers unions working and all.
Yeah,
But I honestly did not face a lot of challenges working for a government organization as a private consultant. It was brilliant. I loved it.
that's
Maybe,
really amazing to know.
yeah, 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 yeah. Honestly, I mean, you're surprised to hear that. I think it also comes from, our maybe people working over there were more, let's say, conservative in nature or driven by our societal norms. Maybe they gave me. More respect, or they didn't go out, completely negating my being, because what you learn from home, you give respect to women. Maybe that was one of the things. It was exceptional.
Absolutely, that's really surprising to know, and also happy to know that you can be in a government organization, you can be in a male-dominated organization, and still have be you still be heard and all of that. And also, Saima, I'd like to know
Absolutely.
since yeah, and also we'd like to know what your take is on mentoring, and what do you and how think you important mentoring is to receive it and to give it, to be a mentee and a mentor. What's your take on all of that?
Like I just said, when you asked me the question about people not getting, management trainee positions, find a mentor. It's very, very important. I said it need not even be someone professional. Someone you look up to, someone who's got wisdom, not even education, because education would not give you wisdom. Sometimes it's just life experience. It's very, very important. I've had mentors in my life, and even if, I haven't outrightly gone up to them and told them, okay, I choose you, I thereby nominate you as my mentor. But I've had great leaders that I've looked up to at the very start of my career. There have been people who were in very, very senior positions, and they were so humble. They led by example, truly, because I was very, very, we're getting a question, so I'm picking that term, and maybe
Yeah,
you can ask that question. Maybe I
sure.
was an extrovert, which was not how I've always been. I was very, very shy at the start of my career. I was very reticent. I wouldn't even speak to people. But what I'm getting at is, because I was very, very, eventually I became very confident, because internally I was confident. It helped me, so yeah, just just have faith in yourself,
And I'm sure you
whatever
are
you
a
do.
mentor as well to a lot of
Yeah,
people.
that's, yeah, true. I do mentor people over here. Let's say this is a more formal platform, but even in the organizations that I work for, naturally people are drawn to me for advice, for coming and talking about their experiences, for just venting. Somehow I'm a magnet for all kinds of, it takes its toll on you sometimes, because then
Obviously.
you're just in the role of a, therapist, or a mentor. But it's
Yeah.
important, if you can give. Mentoring is a way for you to give back. It's very, very important, and I thrive on it. I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we're running a little short on time, and we should head to taking the questions. But I'll just take a little time of yours, and I want to do a little rapid fire with you, right? So I'm just gonna give you like
Oh my god.
quick. No, no,
Can I
you'll
think?
enjoy answering as well. So first thing that I'd like to know in this rapid fire is that what's your favorite quote, Saima?
What's my favorite quote?
Yeah.
uh, Everything has beauty, uh, but not everyone can see. And who is it by? I don't know.
Wow, no, no, this is really good. Next, we want to know that if you had to have another degree, what would that be in?
Uh, Philosophy.
Nice, nice. And if Saima, you had to start a business of your own, what would it be?
Oh, it would be a small coffee shop with a bookstore. That would be my
Wow,
business. A corner little retro shop, coffee
wow.
shop.
I'd be a regular customer for
Coffee
that.
shop. Yeah, yeah. You'd love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll do it.
Next, we want to know what your favorite book is.
My favorite book is, well, because I've studied literature. It would be, the original of Laura by Vladimir Nabokov, because of its uniqueness. It's an unfinished work of fiction that was printed posthumously. When Nabokov died, he wrote it on little flashcards from the hospital that was in, and he
Mhm.
said, "Expunge, eradicate, obliterate, delete." He said that it need not be printed ever. So that book stayed in a vault, in a Swiss bank vault for more than 30 years. And then his son, Dmitry Nabokov, he chose to print it. And all of us Nabokov fans, we were very, very furious. But we were also the first ones to go and get that book. So it's my favorite book that I have. It's perforated, it's written in his own handwriting, and then obviously, it's been typed. The original of Laura, if you're at all interested in literature. I didn't give you
Absolutely.
any self-help books. Were you expecting that?
I wasn't, and I'm glad you didn't share any. I love reading fiction myself, so I'm glad you share that.
Literary
So
fiction. Literary fiction.
great. So that was the end of our rapid fire round. We will be moving on to the questions. I will be going bottom up. We have a
Hmm.
question from Tayyib Hamid. He's saying the world is more adapted to extroverted people. It is much more difficult for an introverted
Hmm.
person to let others know about their potential because some employers prefer people who are more communicative and collaborative rather than those who prefer to work more without having to deal with corporate politics. These people in the sales and marketing profiles face the same challenges. What are your thoughts on the subject?
So, yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. The world, sadly, it is proven by research. Uh, you know, uh, Big names, Howard, Times, whatnot, that if you are more extroverted, if you are more eloquent, or if you are even relatively better looking than the rest of the people who perhaps have the same skill set as you, who perhaps have a better degree than you, who could perhaps be more hardworking. Sadly, it is true that extroverted people would get a preference. So that's how the world goes. But being an introverted person, at least in my career, I have been someone who has always encouraged them. I have learned to have a mix of people, because what is it that the organization these days thrive on? Diversity and inclusion. So, diversity, you cannot have, every person cannot be extroverted. It is up to the management to help these people to adapt their way of managing, to know not every person is needed to be on the same pace. Every person is not supposed to be cutthroat, confident, out there, extroverted. um, I think the duty lies on the organizations, the managers, the hiring talent managers, that they create opportunities for people who are introverted, who help them. Like in my teams, when I was working with people who perhaps didn't even need communication skills, I told them, you need to work on those, be more confident. So I gave them turns. Okay, maybe next time you deal with the customer, and it is okay. Maybe your English is not sometimes people struggle with language. I tell them, don't worry, it's not your mother tongue. You'll get it wrong a couple of times. There's nothing to worry about. So they need to be given. It is up to the employers and the managers. Especially, you're saying these people in the sales and marketing profiles face the same challenge. What are your thoughts on the subject? I think just be yourself, speak up. If you see that you're not being treated fairly, talk about it. That will help you. Take the first step. If you're an introverted person, like I also used to be, take the first step. The first step is always difficult, but once you speak, once it's out of your mouth, or once you've taken the step into an office, you'll feel more confident. you know Take little milestones, little achievements, they matter. uh, you'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've answered your question, Tayyab. We will be moving on to Anas's question, who is saying universities teach us numerous concepts, but on workplaces, it's all about unlearning and relearning. So, would you say formal education is useless?
uh no, I not entirely. And I'm not an expert on everything, but whatever I'm saying is my personal opinions. I wouldn't want to mislead people. Formal education is not useless, but it does come in handy. But you need to constantly keep learning and unlearning. It's very important. You have to pick and choose. But formal education, in my opinion, is important. It does groom you. But yeah, practical life will teach you more. But formal education, I would say, it is very, very important. Whatever you're studying, whatever field you get into, even if your degree is not relevant to the career path you choose, it is very important that you get formally educated as much as you can,
Absolutely.
and the process need
Another
not stop.
Okay, okay. Sorry to cut you off. Another
No.
question that we've received is that if one is going to start their career today, then what could they do and from where do they start their career?
If one were to start their career today, what should they do and where to start their
Where to
career?
start? Yes.
Well, see what you're passionate about. Like I was passionate about brands, right? And communication, brand marketing. So I pursued that. So see what you're passionate about. And it need not be a particular industry. Like I've worked in so many different industries, but I've done almost the same thing everywhere. It's been brands, it's been communication, it's been content. I could be working for a soap manufacturing company, but I'd be doing the same thing. So find your passion. Don't look at big brands, big organization names. Know what you want to do, and then from there pick and choose. You are the protagonist of your life, like I said. So it's up to you.
Great. Since we're just running a little short of time, I would include the last question, which is from Osama. He's saying that what should one do if they don't have an access to a mentor network?
I think I've already talked about it. If you don't have access to mentor access, I think it's time when I also give a shout out to Curious. You if you are on this platform, you have access to mentors, and you're very very lucky. When I was born in 1920s, internet was something new that we had. So now, mentor, find anyone. It can be a family member, it can be a friend. Find anyone that you look up to, that you respect personally, professionally, that you feel can impart you any knowledge, to help you develop personally or professionally. Find a neighbor. If you don't have access to a mentoring network, there need not be any mentoring network, but now you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to have that benchmark, that somebody you want to aspire to be. So you can just work on yourself and just try to be that person. And even if it's not that one
Yeah,
specific person, it could be different qualities that different people have that you aspire to
yeah.
be as an individual.
Absolutely. Yeah. I chose to find mentors who were humble and giving and loving. And that is how I shaped my life. I didn't formally pick any mentor, but I did send them a thank you note 20 years into my career saying that you were my mentor. I looked up to you and I learned a lot from you. And they were surprised and pleasantly surprised. They're like, wow, thank you, Saima. I never knew that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that with this, you were also mentioning a very important point, to acknowledge that the mentors you have in your life and sort of tell them that they've made a difference, so that, they know that the
Yes.
impact that they're making, it also makes them feel good and accomplished.
Absolutely. We have to feel good about whatever we do. Appreciation, acknowledgement works both ways.
Absolutely, absolutely. With this, I think we're right on time. Just a little over time, but that's okay. We really, really didn't know where the time went because the conversation was just so natural. And I'd
I
also
really
like
enjoyed it.
to Yeah, and I'd also like to thank everyone who's joined us over Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for sharing your questions. We have a lot of such workshops and cohorts on our platform. If you're a mentor, an apprentice, or a business, don't forget to visit www.curious.com. And we have a lot of interesting things for all of you. So join us. And thank you, Saima. Thank you so much for taking your
Thank you
time and for doing
so
this.
much. Thank you, Hadia, and everyone that joined. Love and light to all of you.
Absolutely. You'll be seeing us soon with other workshops and cohorts. And thank you so much for tuning in for
Inshallah.
the one today. And Saima, see you soon. Thank you for your time. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
God bless you all. Bye bye.
Bye bye.